Hey everyone, and welcome to this short video, or rather it's just audio really, apart from a couple of notes you can see on the screen already, about some best practices that I see for backing up your pictures for the long term. Naturally, I always try and keep a copy of the pictures that I've delivered to you guys for as long as I possibly can. However, this is just precautions for you guys to keep copies yourselves, and so that you aren't relying on myself for the pictures for the long term. So I'm just going to run through and explain these 5 little bullet points that I've got in front of me here. And these are the things I do, and more so to be honest, but these are 5 really simple things that you guys can do to keep your images protected. So the first thing is number of copies of the pictures that you have. You probably already have 2 copies of those pictures. You hopefully have one on a USB stick that you guys purchased from me. And hopefully the first thing you did when you got that was you copied those pictures onto your laptop or your iPad, or to another USB stick would be good. We'll come on to that in a minute. So hopefully you initially have 2 copies. Now, the problem with that 2 copies scenario is, whilst you might think, okay, I've got the USB stick here and I've got my computer hard drive here. The problem with that is that if your hard drive goes bang, or you happen to spill a cup of coffee over your laptop while your USB is plugged into it, and the USB and the hard drive are gone, you then no longer have any copies of the pictures. So I recommend a 3-copy minimum of all your pictures. So that could be 3 hard drives, that could be 3 computers. As a minimum, you could think of the USB that you have. You could buy another USB very cheaply on Amazon for 3, 4, 5, 6 quid to keep another copy of the pictures on. And then obviously your computer hard drive. And if you get a new computer at any time, then I would suggest making another copy on those computers as you go forward. The second thing is the number of locations. Now, you've got your 3 copies. Now, don't ever keep all those 3 copies in the same place. I would recommend that you keep perhaps one in your glove box in your car, or maybe keep one at your parents' house, your in-laws' house, your sister's house. Maybe keep one at your work address, just so that if on the unlikely event that your house was to catch fire, or you had to have a flood, or you unfortunately got broken into, or something along those lines, that they're not all in one place at the same time. So just separate out the copies. You can have more than 3 copies. 3 copies at home, have one at work, have one on the hard drive, and give one to mum and dad, whatever it may be. But just to have multiple copies in multiple locations is like the core to backing up. The third thing, perhaps not so obvious, is different media types. So as well as all those physical copies that you have, now in this day and age where cloud storage is so cheap, I would recommend that you have 1 copy in the cloud, whether that's a Dropbox, whether that's in Amazon Prime, whether that's in Google Drive, any of these software that exists cloud storage. Most of them are free for a small amount of pictures. Amazon Prime is a really good one for allowing you to store up as many JPEG files as you like. So just think about keeping a different media type. So you've got the cloud storage, you've got your physical copies at home, you've got a copy at someone else's house or in the office. Fourth is to stay updated. What I mean by that is, a couple of years ago, USB 3 didn't exist. 5 years ago, we had something called FireWire, and that doesn't exist anymore. So it's just kind of keeping updated with the software, the hardware as time goes on. So at the moment, it's cloud storage, it's USB 3 is all the rave. But as things come on, as maybe USB 4 comes along, or something else in the future, it's just to make sure you transfer the files from your existing source to the source that you have now. What you don't want to do is in 10, 15, 20 years from now, have your pictures still stored on, for example, on vinyl, and then have them, and then trying to copy them across to CD, and then trying to copy them across. You can see how from skipping loads of different eras in one step is quite hard. So just stay updated with the technology. And then plan for the worst case scenario. We've already kind of highlighted that with the number of copies and number of locations, but anything you can foresee that, probably will never happen, but might happen, it's just a good way to keep those pictures in check. I mean, gone are the days where we only had 1 copy on a piece of film and 1 wedding album that, you couldn't reprint. We're lucky now that we have all these digital copies, and we can make all these digital copies. So I would take advantage of that and store them in different locations so that you can plan for the worst. And digital aside, is just to have some prints as well. They don't go to Tesco's and print them for 5, 10 pence a go. You can order them through the online gallery, or you can make an album, or you can do any of these number of things, as well as the digital copies. If you're really sentimental and think that we could go to back to the Stone Age sometime, and technology is fragile at times, then have those physical printed copies, as well as the technology stuff. But 9 times out of 10, or hopefully more than that, the technology will keep you safe. And hopefully that's just given you a few ideas, guys. Main things, those number 1 and number 2 points: number of copies, number of locations. Keep a few different copies and keep them in different places. Do that and you can't go too far wrong. Hope that helped, guys. Cheers, bye.